Today, we react to Rob, sports card therapist, and Ken at Sports Card Lessons' recent video. We're coming for you.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Guys, we have almost made it to the weekend. I hope everybody is doing amazingly well. How is everybody doing?
I feel pretty good too. I think I finally got some sleep.
I watched a recent video this morning that I thought was a great discussion point that I wanted to react to. Here is the reaction video, and it was Sports Card Lessons and Sports Card Therapist getting together on Sports Card Therapist channel. Definitely check these guys out. I've been watching Rob for a while, Sports Card Therapist, and then I've probably been watching Ken for the last few months. Just found his channel not too long ago, but I really like these guys. They offer good perspective because they are a combination of dealer and collector, and the way they kind of talk through this is good. I think it's good for everybody because many people in the hobby are buying and selling, trying to maybe flip some cards so that they can fund PC items and things like that. So the way that they're open about it, and also they do travel to shows. So they're setting up at shows so they can give you kind of insights into what's going on at certain shows and what their strategies are and why they're doing the things they're doing. And also Rob has a wicked collection. He's got some really high-end stuff, and he's kind of leveled up over time over the last few years. And so just kind of seeing that journey as he's kind of built up into larger cards, very, very cool. So definitely check out both of these YouTube channels. I think they're in podcast form as well if you're more of a podcast person. As I've said before, I'm more of a visual learner. I'm a YouTube guy. I like watching the YouTube. Okay, so the gist of this recent episode was a shifting gears into more PC items. And the one thing that Ken had talked about, which I thought was interesting, is, he's done a lot of kind of the prospecting over the last couple of years, but really on the selling side, there's larger margins when you're getting into the new rookie prospect, the young quarterbacks and flipping those, or young guns, because he's also into hockey cards. So there's speculation prospecting on that sort of thing. And we've, of course, seen it now move more towards a buyer's market. Not to say that flipping and rookie prospecting is going away. That's been going on since the beginning of time, at least for the last 30, 40 years in sports cards. So that never really goes away. And I think there's a fun element to that too. So I don't really want it to go away, frankly. I think that it is good. It's fun. And there's kind of an adrenaline rush there as well. So as long as everybody understands the risks behind it, and if they're just more of kind of short-term flips, then fine. That's kind of a fun way to go about it. But Ken talks about how he's moving more towards PC items, and that is music cards and movie cards and more hockey cards, maybe even some vintage hockey cards. He's a big hockey guy, been watching hockey, he said, since he was young. And so, kind of a cool shift. He even mentioned women's soccer cards, which I thought was interesting. He said in this particular episode that he had recently gone to an NC Courage game, which one of my sisters, is a coach for the NC Courage. I'll put a picture up. They just had their big draft, their annual draft, and she was in the war room, so to speak, the draft room. And so I thought it was cool that he referenced that because pro women's soccer is really fun to watch. I go to those games, obviously supporting her, but also just going to watch good soccer games, and they are very entertaining. So I thought that was cool that he brought that up because I think that's going to be more of a growing segment. I don't know about cards, but just on the sports side, when you look at women's sports, WNBA's had a tough time, I think, kind of getting off the ground over time. But women's soccer, especially with the Olympic team being so prolific, pro teams are excellent. Dennis Rodman's daughter plays in the Pro Soccer League, and also Patrick Mahomes just invested into the Kansas City team. So there's a lot going on with the pro women's soccer stuff. So I thought that was cool that he brought that up, and maybe I'll see Ken at an NC Courage game at some point down the road. But this episode, I think, hits on really a big picture issue that I deal with, and I think a lot of hobbyists deal with, is that balance between finding cards that you're going to kind of prospect into to sell to then buy into your PC stuff, or just focusing in on PC stuff. Because what we've seen is a lot of prices have come down. I talk about my Drew Brees PC as a huge New Orleans Saints fan. There's a lot of really awesome Brees cards that have come way down in price from where they were a couple years ago. Tom Brady, another guy that I collect, but he's the football GOAT, so still expensive. Prices have come down on him as well. So, I think it's really tricky when you're looking at kind of those long-term holds, which I would say over the last 12 to 18 months, I've been focusing more on the long-term holds and less on the short-term flips. But then what happens is if you're not flipping into your PC cards, then you're coming out of pocket your own money, which of course fine, but that's something that's got to be taken into account. That shift of buying cards to sell cards to buy more cards, long-term hold. If you're not selling a lot of stuff, then you're not able to fund those cards. And if you continue to buy, then that's going to come out of your regular money, so to speak. Rob also mentioned that he is set collecting 51 Bowman baseball, and he got a good deal on commons. Somebody made him a good deal on, I think, 88 cards. So, set collecting, again, being a part of that collector side. And then with Ken talking about the culture cards that he's moved into, whether it be music or movies, I've got a pretty prolific Stranger Things cards collection. And that kind of falls, that's really my culture card buy that I've been getting into. My whole family is big into the show, and I can get the best, most rare Stranger Things cards at a small fraction of what the rare sports cards are. So it is kind of a fun get when you're able to find a rare card. They don't pop up very often. For Stranger Things, there's really only a few sets. We're talking 4 or 5 sets total. So it's fun to kind of chase those cards. That's really been my non-sports culture card part of my collection, and it's been a lot of fun to dig into. So this was a really good topic. And so I want to tell me kind of your thoughts here in the comments below. It's that combination of, it's the investor flipper side of you, that's trying to make money to then fund the collector side of you. Because whether we all admit it or not, I know there's a lot of folks that they struggle to kind of make these admissions as collectors. But the reality is, I think most of the hobby is kind of in this space where you're buying and selling and trying to get into PC cards and so forth. And so this is a fun topic, I think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you manage this? Have you moved to strictly kind of more PC items and just kind of being choosy about that? Or are you still kind of buying some cards? Hey, I'm speculating on this quarterback. I'm going to try to flip it here, and then I'll use that to buy into my music cards or whatever the case may be. Thanks, Rob and Ken, for putting out a great video. And again, check out their YouTube channels. It's Sports Card Therapist and Sports Card Lessons. Good stuff to take in. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.